what's going up, guys? And this is Anomalycyra with another thought theory for your brain. Today I wanted to talk about, or I felt compelled to speak on, more properly put, the pressure and the heaviness and the responsibility of personal choice. Now, what do I mean? There are decisions in life that we have to make, or that sometimes we feel are made for us, but we find ourselves in that predicament due to choices we've made. And in this way, we have to take a painful look in the mirror and have responsibility for ourselves. What we do, who we have around us, what career path we take, how we receive love, how we give love. Are we appreciative, compassionate, empathetic? Do we have healthy confidence and self-esteem for ourselves, and on and on and on, right? With all of that, it feels vast, like a large ocean right on top of you. So in that way, I'd like to liken it to, if you're a surfer. So if you're a surfer or a freestyle diver, these are the people who even culturally have a larger lung capacity, like myself, where they can hold their breath up to 13 minutes. And it's not a normal concept that anyone can do. Most people can do 1 minute, mostly 30 seconds. Even most trained, 10 minutes at the most, 13 would be a lot. Some even go past that to 30 minutes with proper, years and years of training. Beautiful stuff. Please look it up if you can. It's free diving, where they don't use water tanks. I've seen this one beautiful, a rendition of ballet underwater. And I mean, it's a French filmmaker. I believe that the woman actually does ballet in her life before, when she was younger, and then she got into diving and decided to blend them together. What an amazing combination for us to observe. So in the realm of that, choices, right? So this ballet dancer makes this beautiful decision to start exploring other avenues of herself, other forms and shapes that her body can take. This is another thing that really teaches you about people who are like in the physique world, or they work out, or, really healthy lifestyle, or this kind of thing, where they feel and understand their body in just a different way than the populace at large. Like I myself, I can tell when I'm low on iron, or if my B vitamins are too much, and I'll skip a couple of days. It's also been training over 15 years of it. So I would just say, if you really take the choice and the responsibility to pay attention to yourself and really focus on you, not in a selfish way where you don't care if the world's on fire, but care if your leg is. Are your shoes melting? You can't help anyone else if you're not okay, right? I struggle with this constantly. I was always that person who thinks, well, no, I'm not going to put like they say in airplanes, you put the air mask on yourself first and then on the person next to you. I've always had some kind of feeling with that, where I would just hold my breath and then put the mask on the person next to me because I can handle it, and then put it on myself. And it seems like a lot of people have that feeling or emotion, but sometimes you would understand that they don't have to have that feeling. But if you did, you would probably pass out, and then you wouldn't help anyone. So you do have to think of it that way. But in smaller choices, like who we have in our life, who we keep around us, these are choices. Sometimes they can feel unconscious choices, like friend groups from school, or, family friends, or distant relatives like second cousins and things like this. I'm not a big family person. I know it's strange to hear, but anomaly, right? So it's not any kind of nefarious reason or off-putting or anything. It's just not really the necessity of it. There really isn't one in today's technology of life, There are phone calls, emails, face chats, you don't have to really sit around a fire and read books together anymore. But if you're really close like that and you do that, that's great. That's something I would think now of our timing would be in more of a romantic setting. It's not really something that's like family. When I think of family, it's more like responsibility, duty, like how's this, how's that. I have to take complaints. Like, I've always been in that position. So for me, it's just like, yeah, I just manage everything, make sure things are going well, and then past that, I'm more into my own little world, and I'm an introvert in that way, so I think a lot of people can understand that. Just I kind of want to just look at the sky, and have deep thoughts about reality or what my next move needs to be for my career, and things like that. While I have other fringe groups who are, living their bliss. Here's what I would have to say. Back to the topic, choices, right? So these are all choices. All of that I said could be reasons and excuses, ideas that I could put together from some kind of algorithm of what you want to hear and what I should say so that I seem like a normal, caring person, or that you like me, or that I even like me, or this kind of thing. Instead of doing that, it's a choice. And instead of making it good or bad and locking it into something, it's a choice. Leave things as they are. A neutral decision. In the realm of what actually is existing, all of the choices that could ever be made, will be made, could be thought of, will be thought of, were thought of, and did happen. It's just the one that you're paying attention to is the one that took hold, and the rest of them collapsed. So really, you did. So there are plenty of realities where I am reading books by the fire, and then there's a reality where I made a decision to go after my career, and that means that a lot of time and effort really can't be put into friends, family, or partners. And it's not lonely to me, but to someone else, it could be. And I understand that. So really what I'm trying to be is empathetic when I explain myself, but I don't have to explain myself, or I don't feel that I have to explain myself, or even think that anyone has to explain themselves. It's just a way of connecting. I want to feel similar, like everyone does. And I never have, but there's always this type of emotion that feels like I should, and I'm not really sure what that is. The more research I've been looking into, I was reading Dorian Gray, the Portraits of Dorian Gray. If you're a listener of this, you know all these books already, so I really don't have to explain it, but for maybe if you're a new reader or a new listener, or you're just new to this whole type of way of thought, which I was, so I like to always pay attention to that too. In that way, so Dorian Gray makes a decision that he wants to live forever, and there's a portrait that keeps his age. There's so much more to it, but I'm going to try and keep it short. So there's a portrait that keeps his real age, and then he gets to stay young and beautiful forever. If anyone ever sees it, something happens, he turns into ash. This kind of thing. But this also means these are some choices. So if you've made a decision that you want to live forever, you don't want to deal with death or aging or not being as beautiful as you were in your 20s, or, which I would say is another way of locking yourself into a point of view. Because some people look better aging. Their older self, they grew into their ears and this type of thing. We all know someone who, when they got older, like, wow, okay, now it works. So don't be afraid that you didn't die. That's always been my point of view on it. If you are afraid of having age, of being older, if you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be 25 soon, I need to decide the next 75 years of my life right now, that is a choice you're making, and it's probably connected to some kind of anxiety, These aren't things that are comforting. I would say for me, I guess I've heard from normies that, I'm very warm and sweet, but I don't connect to them in that way, which I think is a privacy thing to them. Like if you've ever gone to places in like Japan or something, like if you see a girl crying on the bus, a bunch of people aren't going to start tapping her shoulder and asking her if she's okay or staring at her crying face. So, they kind of will turn away. They'll put their back to her so she has some type of privacy. But in a place like America, possibly that would come off as mean or sad. And I remember thinking that way. I'm a Midwestern girl, so I probably would be that moron that would just go over there. I'm that American person. Are you okay, sweetheart? But no, I try to fight that. I lived in New York for a while. I got a little bit of a tough edge, so now I know you can't do that. It's okay. I definitely had to get out of New York before I got too tough, because just there's an aggression there. There's a beauty of freedom, but it's just this ebb and flow. It's a lot, and if you're, sensitive to certain sounds, bang noises, or, there's always some kind of festival or fireworks, or, it was beautiful when you're young. You definitely do that, and I would say from like 15 to 25, New York is amazing. But when you turn 30 and you start wanting to be all romantic, and you want, we'll do that in another episode. This episode, we're going to get back to the responsibility and the pressure of choices in your career. Or, we don't even talk about jobs here, because that's not something, I think that's just a complete illusion and a trap, and it holds a lot of people back. That could have been amazing. So, and I really don't want all these beautiful ideas and people and places that can create in this world for us to vanish into a graveyard. And not to be uncomfortable with death and graveyards and all of that. I'm a goth chick like any when I was 13. So for me, I don't have the same kind of edge. And then there are different cultures like in Louisiana or in my own Brazil, where we celebrate the life. We don't really mourn the death. It's different, which can be very complex to understand. That's why they, and Cinco de Mayo, where people have the masks that they wear and this kind of stuff. It's a skull. Everything looks so pretty and there's so many colors. We kind of don't notice that some of this stuff. It's death, though. We're talking about, the end of it, meeting your maker. But in that way, wouldn't that be amazing? You get to go meet God now? So for me, I'm just like, not yet, though. It's like a really big party I am not ready to go to. Oh, dark humor. Yes. Welcome. If that's not your type of humor, then it's too late now. We're already in the other realms now. So in the realm of that, there are multiple ways that things can go and will go and have gone, because this is all the past. Everything is the past. It's already happened. You'll notice a lot of, love men, but there are a lot of men speakers who speak of everything like you can do something about the future. You can't. You can't even do anything about the past. It's like floating out in space. There is no trajectory. Left, right, up, down, none of it exists. You're just there, floating, just like the earth is. You're already bare. So make all the decisions and choices and know that they are under your responsibility. Now we want to start talking about how to handle the pressure of responsibility. This is even difficult for someone like myself who knows all of the logic of it. It's still hard, and it's never comforting. But remember, nobody comforts the king. But most people would say, oh, well, didn't he have a jester to make him laugh, or a queen to give him, pleasures, or, some kind of, there were all kinds of things. Those weren't comforts. There was no one that he was, maybe King Henry did have a nurse that would kiss his forehead every morning until the day she died, which is practically close to the day he died. She was already old before that, so she was in good health, right? So that would be comfort, I guess. But that sounds more like nurturing and like routine. So it's not comfort. Someone that you come to with this type of stress issue, pressure, and they have the ability to speak certain words and things to you that allow you to feel uplifted. Now, different forms of people, I'd say like presidents, prime ministers, they might have this type of thing, but way later, 2020, yeah. But when this saying came out, I have to do what I do. I break apart everything. So we're going to break apart all the sayings too. I really like nobody comforts kings, but it contradicts itself just like everything does to me. I haven't seen anything yet that doesn't. And I think everything has to, because it must be here and then not be here. That's really what a contradiction is in my mind, the way that it works. Anomaly that I am, maybe this is not how it works to you, but this is another way of seeing another view or another reality that could exist. And safely, without your own reality being shaken or torn apart or switched out. So there's this form of feeling like if you're not in your reality, or you feel that something is off, there's an imposter syndrome where you feel like you're not the one that all of this is about, or you feel disillusioned or separated from. I would say that a lot of these people, instead of going to a psychiatrist, need to understand that somebody probably traumatized them. And that's what your mind just does to keep you safe. It just splits. Something happened, sometime, somewhere. Figure that out instead of calling yourself all these different names. And then just knowing doesn't solve it still won't fix it. Then there's practices. It's never a cure. This is the other thing. There are choices made to tell us that the world can be fixed, cured, and saved. And that's not reality. Nothing can be fixed, cured, and saved other than through death. That's how we fix and cure things. If your nails are messed up, ladies, if your nails are messed up and you need to get your nails done, you don't fix and cure your nails. You that fake thing that you glued on there and all that powdery stuff they use and glue and toxic, sorry, I'm really not into it. But if you do that, I have a sister, she loves this type of stuff, eyelashes and the whole thing. So if you do that though, it will do something like this. You have it taken off and they throw it out. It's destroyed. So the old nail that you had, you kill and you replace it with a new one. And the body does the same thing with cells. But then every 10 years, your whole body has been replaced with new cells. So is it really you? Are you really you? 10 years from now, you're gonna be a different you than you are right now. How does that make you feel? What do you think about that? Talk to yourself about it. Not that it's something that needs to be scary, but it's something that should be at least questioned. Be curious about it in some kind of way, I would say. I am. That's really all of this, what this all is. This is where all the studying and the research, and I love, learning more about this and sharing it with you guys, and we're all just growing this big, massive brain of the universe, and it's amazing. I love it. I love being a part of it, and I love being a part of this community, and you guys are amazing, and you're so sweet. Thank you for all your donations and everything that you've done so far, and all this support and the likes and love, and I really appreciate you. And in the beginning, when I wasn't really sure of myself, of what I had to say, of who I was, and I just thought everyone would just run away from even hearing my terrible voice. It's amazing, and I'm thankful. I'm just thankful, I'm grateful, and I just appreciate you all, and I thank you. This has been another Thought Theory with Anomalycyra, and we'll speak again soon, and as always, thank you.